Hi, and welcome to a new episode of Behind the Uni, brought to you by the University of Gloucestershire, the podcast that covers everything to do with student life with your hosts, Hisham and Lewis. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to Behind the Uni. My name is Hisham. Thank you so much for tuning in again. Last week's episode was so much fun, right?
Oh, it was so good.
Our first episode, it was really, really good, and we're really, really excited about the podcast. We've been working so hard on it, and we're back again, and today we've got a serious episode. This is why Lewis is wearing his shirt.
Yep. See, very smart today.
But yeah, we're talking about university finances and how to kind of secure finances to help you come to uni. Also talking about kind of like the funny side of money as a student, like all the stupid purchases that you might make as a student. I mean, I've definitely done a lot of those.
I've done a lot as well. I think it's not even that as well. It's like budgeting at uni as well, because I know personally it was always very, very hard to try and juggle obviously working and then trying to obviously live your life as well. And it costs quite a bit.
Costs quite a bit, but you know what? You only live once and you just got to get on with it.
Exactly.
But yeah, we're again and in the living room spaces here at Park Campus, which is a student union owned space. It's part of the refectory, which is the university canteen. It's a lovely space. We took it today to record our podcast, but as a student you have access to this. You can book it and you can have events, parties here. Really, really fun, and it's great. And today we've got two amazing students. We've got Lewis Holman, who is a sports journalism student. Hi, Lewis.
Hello, very happy to make my debut.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you here. And we also have Tereza, who is a master student, a master's of design, as I've learned just 10 minutes. Just today. And you're studying you're doing a master's in graphic design.
Yeah, graphic design, yeah.
How's that going?
How's that going? Oh, I mean, it's going.
Yeah.
We're almost at the end, and we're just entering the kind of the part of the year where all the deadlines are rolling in at the same time. And like literally every year, I did not do any of the work. So now I just have to start actually doing stuff. Thankfully, we've got the Easter break, so...
Yeah, it's coming up soon.
Yeah.
It's so good. I think it's like starting to rain now.
Yeah, I think it's
so good. It's like we got a really nice like atmosphere. It feels like we're having a little cozy chat.
We should have like a fireplace
Should have a
here.
fireplace.
That'd be amazing.
I want to speak to you about so much, but especially both of you, because money is such a, I don't know, it's such a like a taboo subject that I feel like people don't want to talk about. But I think it's really, really important for anyone that is thinking about going to university to figure out how to secure their money, if they want to get a loan, how to get it. But we'll jump into that in a second. But I would love to know, I guess this question is for both of you, how did you choose to come to Uni of Glos? What was your kind of journey? Lewis, can we start with you, please?
My journey to the University of Gloucestershire started with an open day. Came in the open day.
Nice.
Caught a vibe.
Love it.
And I came for the ride. I came here. I really liked it. I instantly liked the lecturers. So I relocated from West London, from Ealing. Shout out the Ealing Massive.
Love it.
to come here to Gloucestershire. And I remember my teacher at the time was like, "What are you doing? Like, we're never going to see you again. You're going to be out of the country forever." Like, he was a nice guy, but he was kind of like, you capable of so much more. I went, I like this uni. I caught a vibe, and I'm going to see it through. And
nice.
Done lots of work experience, done an internship, and now I'm here and looking decisively older and dishevelled and more broke than ever.
It's so funny because like most people will start university at like 18 years old, and then you grow so much. Like,
and you look back and like literally like the September the freshest, and like, oh my god, such a baby.
Yeah, literally.
Oh.
How was your journey?
Like absolutely different from his, because I'm an international student, so. I was actually I was looking at university back home, and I was like, there's literally nothing here I want to study.
Where's home?
Czech Republic.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, what else can I do? I come from family that everyone goes to university, so the kind of the expectation was for me to go to university, and I wanted to go, just not in Czech Republic.
Yeah.
So I dragged my family to like sort of like a UCAS fair, like a HE fair.
Yeah.
I just didn't tell them at first that it was this was an international university. But we've arrived, and my dad turned to my mum and said, "With these like international universities," and my mum said, "Oh, I think that's the point."
Oh my God.
So fast forward a couple months, I had selected a few universities based on a course. So I sort of worked my way through, like, I think I want to do advertising. I want to do something creative, but that has a purpose. I want to do advertising. So I selected 5 universities. I did my UCAS thing, you know, applications, and all of them accepted me, like conditionally.
That's amazing. Look
Oh
at you go.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this is happening now.
Yeah.
And now how is that gonna happen? And which university do I choose? So I think it was like spring break, about February time. So I dragged my entire family, 6 of us,
Wow.
to the UK, and we did a road trip. So we
Love
started
that.
in London. We hired a car from there. They wanted to see Bristol. Not Bournemouth. The Brighton.
Brighton. There you go. One of the bees. One of the
Yeah.
bees got
It's
there
like
in
a
the
Big
end.
Ben.
like B. Yeah, so we kind of went around. We went to Bournemouth because that was like the biggest competitor when I was selecting universities. But then I met with them. I saw the course. I'm like, this is actually not it. There's not what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And we sort of went around, but everyone was like, yeah, UOG, like that's the one that just
yeah.
stands
Love
out. Because I think we just arrived and everyone was just so welcoming, and it really made me feel like I mattered. Like they
Yeah.
actually wanted me here.
Love that.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the other universities, like they're not bad, but they were just a bit like, oh, this is the history of the university. Yeah, this is the course, and yeah, that's it. Right?
Yeah, that's not a vibe.
Yeah,
Not
it
at all.
wasn't a vibe.
No.
So definitely there was a vibe there. And even before we left, everyone was like, yeah, that's the one. That's the one. And yeah, here I am.
Oh, I love to
I
hear
love
it. I think for me, well, the rain is so
The
loud.
rain is
I
really
think
loud.
for me, it was like a lot different because there's the main 2 reasons why I sort of like came to university is my brother came to this university before me. So when I was
Legacy.
yeah, legacy. I'm carrying on the Ford legacy.
Ford legacy.
Yes. So sort of like when he was in his 3rd year, I was sort of doing my like college BTECs or like A levels as you would call them. So I was doing that, and then I think I went up on like one of the days, and I was like, wow, like this is like an amazing place. This is awesome. This is what I want to do. And then I think the open day just confirmed it even more when I went up and speaking to like the lecturers there, and I was like, wow, like there's so much knowledge and expertise they can give me, and like it can just help me develop so much as a person, and like all my skills as well. And I think that was probably one of the main reasons. Obviously, it's like for me as well, it was to make more friends and obviously to develop my sport as well. So that's one of the main reasons. So
I think we've talked about this before. Like, for me, coming to uni was like the thing that I had to do. Like you said, there's like I come from like an Egyptian family, really, really traditional. It's kind of like that's what you're expected to do. You're gonna go to uni, you're gonna get a degree. The rain is really going for it.
I left the washing out.
did you?
My pants are soaked.
But yeah, I knew I wanted to come to uni, and this is very typical of me. I studied journalism and I graduated in 2019, and I'm about to actually start a master's this September, which is crazy of me, but I'm doing it. And I knew I wanted to study journalism because I loved Devil Wears Prada so much, which is classic journalism thing.
That is.
And I came here. Honestly, it was just like your experience. I went all over the country. I went to London. I won't name the specific unis. I went to London, went to Bournemouth, which you would know which
I
university
wonder
it is.
what that one is.
I know.
Yeah.
I also went to Birmingham, and I went to Loughborough, and I came to OG, and it genuinely felt like I was getting a hug from like everyone that was like,
Literally. And
yeah.
I came to a reception, and the receptionist was like, oh, are you Tereza? Like, before I even introduced myself, like she
Yeah.
already knew. I'm like,
yeah, they know who you are, and it's so cool.
yeah.
But I guess like part of starting university is obviously the application and stuff. You did your UCAS application. I guess they're very similar in a lot of ways for an international student
Yeah.
and a UK student. How was your application process like? Were you stressed? Were you like, how was your personal statement like as well?
So our school was really good with personal statements. They take it for I went to a traditional all boys Catholic school.
Love that.
So it's hell, but they were really good with like personal statements and stuff. And one of the things is like, even if you're not going to apply to university, get a personal statement done, because you never know. Like last minute, you're like, actually, everyone else is going. I want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they sat us through it, and they drilled it into us. Literally took us like by the hand and like got all the applications done. And I was pretty happy. I got 3 unconditional offers. I applied to 4 unis, 3 unconditional offers and 1 conditional. So I came into school next day. I went, look, I'm number 1. What can I say?
I'm the best here. Look at me.
But our school was really good with it. And don't know. I feel like there's obviously the phrase like you've got a vibe. You get a vibe from the uni and stuff. And I think that's true. Like, I went up to Liverpool to see uni up there. Loved the city. Didn't like the uni.
Yeah.
Went to another uni. Loved the uni. Didn't like the city. And I came here and I was like, Hannah Montana's the best of both worlds. just the course was good. I liked the place enough. But the only thing that stressed me out is that I'm from London. Like, they were like, you're not going to a big city. Like, you go, where are you going? Like, where is this place? I went, where
is Cheltenham?
Literally everybody from London always asks, where is Cheltenham? Like,
I think when you come down here, it really is like a massive culture shock. Like, going from like the big city to sort of like a more agricultural, like,
I'd never seen a cow
outlay. What?
I'd never seen like a
cow
proper
before?
cow or a sheep. I was like, I don't know.
So you came here?
And I came here, I was like, what is that?
That's a cow.
I was like, what?
Driving down, like, cow.
Yeah.
The Queen gif.
Yeah.
The royal coach. She's like, oh, cow.
The one thing I will say, so much, when you drive down, so much roadkill. Like, all the time. It's really sad.
Yeah, that's just country.
Really, I'm like, looking like, oh my God, that's dinner.
But like, for me, like, I'm from Reading. Well, originally from Egypt, really, but that's a technicality. But like, I live in the UK. My family lives in Reading, and like, so super close to London. So we always used to just go and hang out in London. Like, I would finish my day, up to London. I would finish my day in sixth form, and we would literally get on a train and go to Camden. So like, for me, city life is like. So when I came here, it was generally, like you said, the Hannah Montana best of both worlds. Because like, it is agricultural, it's rural, but it's also not just like a pretty place. There's so much to do. Like, I don't know, especially in Cheltenham and Gloucester, like there's always something happening. You're bound to find like a plan or something for your friends to hang out with.
And I think the funny thing is as well, you can go like a mile out from Cheltenham and then you'll be like in the hills, but then you come a mile in and you're literally like in like a town centre. Yeah, well, yeah, it's crazy. It is really like, it's massive.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you're a mile away from like lovely, beautiful countryside. You're also like 10 minutes away from like a good old club.
There's a big like London expat community who've like done their time in the city and then they move out here. Expat community.
I love that.
Like, there was a guy in the summer, his name was Dave. He came around like every day to fix we had loads of problems with our house. And he came through and he went, "You're from London as well?" And it's like, oh, I know this person. Like, there's a massive expat community just because really different pace of life here, like so different.
And it's nice.
Yeah.
Chill.
I mean, everyone was asking me, like, why don't you go to London? I'm like, do you know how expensive London is?
Exactly.
And I was
So
like,
true.
especially with the currency exchange rates and the Czech crown being like 30 to 1, like, I'm glad that I can afford living here.
Yeah.
Let alone London. It's mad. So I'm like, if you move to London, well, really good for you. But if you can afford it, of course. But then you have to live on the outskirts.
You have to live on the outskirts, and then it costs. It costs so much money to actually go into.
to the
and also, I feel like
centre.
there's so many universities in London that, like, yes, there's a great. Like, I mean, let's just say we're not here to slag London.
I love London.
No.
I love London.
Big up Ealing.
I love
Big
all.
up Cromwell.
I
Big
love
up
all
Southall.
the big cities in the UK, and like they're great for like days out. And this is another thing that's great about Cheltenham. You're so close to all the big cities. But if you're a student in London, like you can barely make ends meet, and you can barely live.
And having any social life, like you want to go for drinks, and it's just like, okay, I'm just gonna eat pasta for the rest of the month now.
Yeah. I guess
That's the issue.
I guess we could just jump into the finance straight away because you just mentioned that obviously being an international student, currency is obviously a huge factor into it. For example, okay, let's just jump into it. Tuition fees. Do you use a loan? Are you being supported by your parents to like pay your fees? How is it working for you?
So I was actually really fortunate to join university back in 2018. That was before Brexit.
Yeah.
And I was like I was the pre-last year that we got the kind of UK loan. So I was
amazing.
eligible for the same fees and for the same loan as all the guys up here. But I wasn't eligible for the maintenance loan because for that you have to be a resident and you have to be here for 3 years, which I wasn't. But it wasn't that bad because my parents were able to support me in terms of maintenance and living costs. So I started university, didn't have to pay the tuition fees. Well, I will have to eventually, but that's a different topic.
That's down the road, isn't it?
Yeah, and then basically it works like my parents cover my rent, and then I work for the rest of the stuff.
Yeah.
So I know that I will have somewhere to stay. I won't be on the street, but I still have to work to kind of to cover my living
I think
costs.
it's a huge part of like having a part-time job is so important.
Oh, definitely.
How about
100%.
you? How did you? Is it loan? Are you?
Yeah, so I'm a UK resident, so I get the maintenance loan and the tuition fee. But I'm on the minimum, so luckily I'm very grateful for this, thank God. But I've got my parents who support me, and it's, I don't know, like throughout the years it's been something like almost embarrassed to say, like, look, like, not gonna lie, my parents support me, but luckily they are in the position in the position to do so, and then they helped me out a tremendous amount. So I pay my rent through a combination of the tuition loan and then the maintenance loan, and then my parents help me with the living cost of just being able to like get bread, get eggs, get milk and such. But it's funny, like at uni, how taboo the subject of finance is.
People don't want to talk about money.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's like, well, I don't get it. Why? For me, like I got the loan. I pay in home fees. I got the maintenance and the normal tuition fee loan. I had a part-time job all throughout university. I was very, very lucky. I had a great job as a salesperson in a phone shop, which was really fun. I have so many stories from that. But I think like like you say, there's so much taboo about like how people finance their tuition. I come from the school of thought that education should be available
for everyone.
The resources are there, so you should be using them. Like, there's no shame in getting a maintenance loan. As well, it's not a shame being supported by your parents. Like, you're still a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you might be 18 now, but it's still a kid, basically.
And also sorry.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say, like, yeah, you get the loan. Some people also like get scholarships and stuff, and they're really like secretive about it, because I don't know if they're like scared of like, I don't know, teasing about. You got a scholarship. Which I'm like, good for you got a scholarship.
And it's also great as well.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah,
literally.
The thing is, it's also great as well. The university also like provide like bursaries for you as well.
Yeah.
Like if you like, I know in my masters I was struggling quite financially, and they do like a sort of like post-grad like bursary thing for people who are struggling financially, and they literally give you like a grant basically with money,
so cool.
which you should have to pay back.
That's pretty cool.
Which I don't know if they're still doing it at the moment.
Oh, yes, they are. Unfortunately, I'm just not poor enough.
And you literally, to apply for it, you like go onto student records and you fill out like all the details of like what expenses are going out, and then you send across like a month of your bank statement, and they either accept or reject it. But I do recommend anyone applying for it, because you might as well. There's no harm, because of I
didn't know that was the thing.
It's crazy. I found out from
Let me
like
just take notes.
I found out from like a friend of a friend that like the university did this. I was like, what? No way.
Cool.
And I think everyone should just apply for it, and if you get rejected, you get rejected. Like, there's no harm in like going for it.
You got to secure the bag. You got to do everything you can do to secure the bag.
I was fortunate that so I got an unconditional offer, and then as part of the incentive to keep doing well in at A level and not just like bunk off, the university said if you get this amount of UCAS points, we'll give you a scholarship to go for a trip in second year.
Oh, love that.
So I got that amount of points. Shout out BTEC Sport. Like getting that many UCAS. Getting that many UCAS points was good. And then in second year, there was a trip to Milan, and the uni said we'll pay for you to go.
Love that.
Cool.
It was Milan, so in March 2020, about to go to Milan, and then boom, COVID-19. But luckily, the uni, after a few weeks, uni went, look, this trip is not happening. We don't know what's going to happen. We'll give you the money. And that paid for this laptop. So I was pretty happy with that.
Nice.
Shout out UOG.
Shout out Huawei.
I love that. Yeah, but like, bursaries and stuff. I mean, when I was a student, when I was doing my undergrad, I wanted to start a society, and that was like something I was really, really passionate about. I wanted to start this like little magazine to kind of help people who are studying media subjects or graphic design or journalism or even sports to like talk about different things. And I was like, how the hell am I going to fund this? I saved a lot of my own money, and a lot of people that we were working with, other students, helped invest. The Students' Union is also great. Like, if you have a project, have like a passion project,
they will help you all the way.
Yeah, they do. I have a friend, he's doing karting, so that's Karting Society. So they do get like the mileage for the gas, because they have to travel to
love that.
For the karting, because it's not everywhere, right?
Yeah.
But like SU will kind of support them to cover some of the costs. So yeah.
See, you just mentioned something that's really, really important. Like there's always like the hidden costs of education.
It's crazy.
Like it's not just the tuition fee, it's not just the maintenance loan. It's like, how do you fund a project? If you're a film student, how do you
get the cameras and stuff
all
like that?
Stuff,
yeah, definitely. But there's a lot of courses kind of have that covered as well, because I did advertising, and in our third year we got like £1,000 budget for our final exhibition. So basically, a lot of us, like, we did some crowdfunding, like we got some of my parents come like, we're doing an exhibition, a bake sale, that sort of thing. But in the end, we didn't actually have to put that much of our own money. It was like 20 quid a person.
Love that.
It's amazing.
But it was like a big thing, and we got like these big posters printed and everything, the whole setup. So it was quite costly, but we didn't have to pay for it. So that was great.
I think you also have to know the right people to like ask the right questions. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you have to do kind of anyone that goes to any university, and I'm just going to talk straight to the camera. Anyone that goes to any university, not just the University of Gloucestershire, look on the website and do your digging. Look at all like the sub pages, see what's on offer. Because I can guarantee you
can find a lot.
You can find a lot of
information,
good like Easter eggs. Like, I don't know, we have the Money Matters team at the university. When I was starting that society I'm talking about, I found about that funding from this SU via the Money Matters page. And I was like, ooh, sounds interesting. And I didn't even know what was like the conditions of how to get this money. But I was like, let me just email.
I think
find out.
Even if you're like a A-level or BTEC student, like for me, our like college was linked with the university.
That's handy.
So like if I achieved a certain grade, like you said, Lewis, like you would get some money. So I got like £500 from that. And because we're also linked as well, I got an extra £500 on top. So I basically come to university, as soon as September hit or the first loan hit, I had like £1,000 in my bank account. I was like,
got the bag.
I literally got the bag straight away. But then
That's dangerous,
yeah,
though. That is the most dangerous thing ever.
When you see 4 figures in your bank account, you go, wow,
I'm a rich man.
I am very rich. And then you see there's like footballers out there who are making like 100k a week. And you're like, okay, maybe I'm not that rich.
Well, a really good way to earn money quick is like in town, like the HSBC in town, really easy to rob. Like, so easy. If you want to do a bank robbery.
Did you try?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, that's how actually we met in first year, like doing that job. Yeah.
I will have to say this again.
We didn't actually do it.
We didn't do that.
This is not financial advice.
This is not financial advice. Please do not rob a bank. That's not okay. However, you could work at a bank.
Yes, yeah, and rob it.
No.
Stop thinking about robbing banks.
When I first started uni, my first ever job as a UOG student, I used to do promo for Vodka Revolution.
I did that too at one
Isn't it so much fun?
point.
And I loved it for the first 2 shifts. And I was like, this is so much fun. I'm like just walking around giving out flyers. And let's be honest, if you ever did a job where you have to give out flyers, did you really give out the flyers, or did you just put them in the bin? Do you know what I mean?
You put them in the bin, didn't you?
You put them in the bin. But then I made some money. I was like, no, this is not a viable option, because like you work late hours. And I think some people who work in hospitality either love it or hate it. I hated it. So
I absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
All the drunk people.
Drunk people, also just hospitality in general. Everyone knows that some people are just rude. So I got a sales job, and I really loved that. What are part-time jobs, like crazy part-time jobs that you've had when you were at uni?
At uni, I was a football coach for a long time.
That's cool.
I was a football coach, so during the summers I would work with my cousin and would just spend all time like just working with children and such. Nice. And it was great. Although I remember I was going for my driving test. It was my first one, and one of them was like, I'm not going to be there. I said to one of them, I'm not going to be there tomorrow, Sarah, because I've got my driving test tomorrow. And Sarah looked at me very innocently and went, I hope you fail. I was like, what?
Oh my God.
Listen to it.
The audacity of her.
I know. And I was like, don't. It's like, you can't kick a child. You can't kick a child. But, and then I did fail, and I came back. She went, did you pass? I went, oh, no.
Sarah, that's so funny. What jobs have you had?
Not that many, actually. Like, I think I started looking for a part-time job literally like the day after I moved into halls. Like, I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. Like, it wasn't even a freshers fair yet, and I was already like, I had like 20 CVs printed, and I just went around the town. I was exploring anyway, and I just went around coffee shops because I already did a few jobs in coffee shops back home. So I was like, this is something that I can do. So I just went around coffee shops. Either they were looking or they weren't even looking, and I just went inside and be like, hey, here's my CV. I want to work. I want to work for you. Please give me a job. I did get a couple of interviews, and then I started working in a Scandinavian coffee pot.
Oh wow!
Absolutely love that place. But and that's a big but.
Oh, no,
It's not bad.
Nothing bad.
It's not bad, but
You got robbed.
By you.
no. I went to the Freshers' Fair, which is like 2 weeks later when I already started working, and there I learned there was the student ambassador scheme.
Yeah.
And they were like, we're gonna give you this much money. I'm like, that is so much more than I'm making currently.
That ambassador scheme is good.
Yeah, and also like, it's very flexible because it works as a kind of events that you book onto, so you can choose your shifts however suits you, and you don't have to work at all if you've got deadlines or something. So then when I went through the process and I became a student ambassador, I did the coffee shop until the end of the year, but then I quit because it's
smart.
having 2 jobs
That's
as
intense.
like straight at the start of university where you want to socialize and have a social life.
So as like a student ambassador, how many days a week sort of like did you work, or was it just more or less like when an event happens they just call on you, or is it more of a...
Yeah, sort of. There are different kinds of kind of events that we do. So obviously open days, and that it's like a season, like open day season. So one of them is
It's like a tour.
it is, isn't it? But one of them is the autumn, so sort of like September till late November, and then the next one is in spring, kind of like late spring. And then in between, we do like other stuff. Sometimes just one-on-one campus store. A lot of it's like outreach. So either college kids come to us, or we do go to colleges. There's HG fairs as well. What else? There's like loads of random stuff. Photo shoots. Oh my god, I love the photo shoots. Like the face of the university.
You were everywhere at one point. I remember you were like, is one of you on a bicycle, like going away.
Yeah, the bicycle photo is
this
legend. Iconic.
Could you please explain to people what a student ambassador does? Because like you just mentioned being the face of the university, would you be able to explain what it is? Like if anyone is interested in actually joining the ambassador scheme, what is it?
Well, so like the base of it is kind of representing the university. So the very core of it is kind of doing campus tours, talking to people about university experience, about the university, about the courses. But because we're trying to do it like a different way than the other universities, is very much about like why this university for us personally, and trying to kind of communicate that to others, why we love this university so much, but also giving the actual information about stuff. Exactly. So I think that's the very core of it, be it in a digital form. I don't know, there was some social media stuff that we did, right? Or at the actual open days, or going to HG fairs, talking to people about different courses. But it's like, it's also it's always around like why this university is just so special to me, and that's why you should come and join us.
It's probably like a very major like full circle for you to like start here and actually like fall in love with the uni. Now you try to make people fall in love with it.
Yeah.
Do you have like a fun fact about the University of Gloucestershire that you always like pull out the bag for a student?
I know what you're gonna say.
What's my fun fact?
What?
I don't have a fun fact.
I thought, because the big fun fact about Park Campus is it was supposed to be a zoo.
Yeah.
That was the one I was going to say. You stole it.
Literally stolen.
You stole it.
I'm available for hire, student ambassador.
Yeah, but Park Campus is a zoo. Do you know any other fun facts?
Oh my god! I guess we're just not that funny university. I'm just kidding. I just can't think of any off the top of my head. Can you?
No, I don't know.
See,
That was my fun fact.
I just know that we were established in 1874.
I'm pretty sure FCH is like a hedgehog like reservation or something, like, or protection thing for like hedgehogs.
Hedgehog is
so
I'm pretty sure FCH was a convent as well. Like before there was a convent,
Yeah,
and
then it was
because
a church.
education was always around the church, and then it became kind of like college, and then it became a university at some point.
Well, basically, I think Park Campus was also a college as well. I think it was
It
girls'
was
St.
the
Mary's.
entire
It was
concept
St. Mary's,
of University of Gloucestershire.
And then I
was
think
first
they
college.
then merged together to then form sort of like
The Avengers.
the
Avengers.
of
the education
universities.
Avengers.
Yeah, and that's why obviously there's split campuses. So and there's
Yeah, we've got campuses obviously in Cheltenham. We've got Park Campus, Hardwick for like photography, and fine art, and we've got FCH for more like the natural like sciences and social sciences, and then we've got Oxtalls in Gloucester with all the sports people.
Yeah,
sports and business.
Yeah, sports
and,
no, and also nursing as well.
Nursing,
it's a real variety in Oxtalls, and that's why I think
Oxtalls.
it's so good.
Business, is it the business?
The business school.
It's the new. I only recently went there.
Isn't it so cool?
Tail end of last year, I was like, oh, this is
like
this
these
is
actual
cool,
meeting rooms. I'm like, I think I'm severely underdressed for this environment.
Literally, I would, as a student, I would go to the business school. I don't know, just like in like typical whatever I was wearing that day, and then there would be like business students like in like pinstripe suits and like pencil skirts with like briefcases, and I'm like,
and here you are, and you're like
here I am.
purple, like wiggly.
I've got faces on me. This is the way I used to dress as a student.
Fun fact though, I used to be like very business casual in high school, and then I came to university and I lost all the effort.
Just let your hair down.
I lost it. Like 6 months in, I went to university in sweats.
I think everyone
and that
did
was
that.
like going from blazers and pencil
Good for
skirts
you.
to sweats. Like
To be fair, like when I was going to university, I would literally just go in shorts and sliders, and I'd go in, and then wear like usually some like sports stash from like my society or something like that, and usually sit at the back of like the lecture theatre as well and just mind my own business.
There's always like different types of students and how they dress. Like there's always the person that like dresses up, or the person that doesn't like wear sweats. Or for me, it was just all about comfortability. Whatever I could just pull out the wardrobe that day.
I don't know. I would dress like I was from the 2000s, like early 2000s.
That's cool. That's your aesthetic.
Like boot cut jeans, like Real Madrid top.
Yeah, I love that.
Then like a green like hoodie, and then a leather jacket with a full on like skin. And I was like looking back at photos, I'm like, wow, like.
I love that you're wearing a sports top as a sports journalism student.
Yeah,
what a cliche.
Journalism students were usually very put together. Like they were like very clever and very well dressed. And I argue with them a lot, and I feel like a lot of the reason was just because of dress. Like, tell you what, I don't know what it's.
I love that. No, this is the best thing about, I feel like at UAG, like there are so many different groups of people, types of people, especially like you said, like on Oxtalls, there's a really wide range of courses with different.
Very, very diverse.
Yeah, like
good.
Yeah, a performing arts student is different to a sports student. Like on campus, a journalism student is different to a film production student, different to a graphic design student. But
give me away.
But you know what? You're being yourself, and that's all that matters. And like I don't know, as a student, you used to always feel great.
I also
when people
think like for
can
a
be
lot of
themselves.
people, that's like the first time they can actually express themselves.
Yeah.
Because you now have the freedom to do so, and like who will tell you like why shouldn't you go for pink hair? Why shouldn't you cut your hair that way? Why shouldn't you wear whatever you want to wear?
Yeah.
Right? And for a lot of people, kind of being away from family kind of gives them that extra bit of freedom. For a lot of them, maybe even a fresh start, or just they can start exploring, because they meet so many different people with so many different looks and opinions and lifestyles. So and you get all these influence, you just soak it in, and then kind of create your own little mixture.
Yeah, we're like adults with adult money, but with no adult responsibility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Well, on that topic, like how have you found like sort of like looking after your finances whilst like during the university experience? Because I know for me, when it got to like my second or third year, I was like, oh god, I thought I got the hang of it, but I don't at the moment.
Very safe. I hate handling it and such, and like I feel like in first year, like you get that first student loan payment, you're like, oh my god, I am the baller. Like and I remember freshers ball just going out and like, don't know who you are, whiskey, me and you now. And then
also when people used to do that.
Yeah,
those
and then
drinks are so expensive.
And then like not being able to like pay rent, I was like, oh no.
Yes. No.
In first year, and then of course in like Park Campus you have a guarantor. Oh, the lights gone out. You have a guarantor in first year. They like immediately contacted my guarantor, which were my parents, and they went, hey, look, you hasn't paid rent.
He's struggling.
Yeah, and then they were like, it's been 2 weeks. How have you done this already? I feel like at the end of first year you think, I've got this now. I go for a break. You come back in second year, and then it's like, well, we're back here again. we're back in the gutter.
Again. Let me be an adult.
Yeah, it's back in the gutter. I feel like just throughout university, it's been like times of like, okay, I'm doing good, and then other times I'm like, probably should have managed that better. I wish I could go back in time and change a few of those. But I guess it's like practice for the real world. And the one great thing for me is one great thing is like it's the great equalizer. Like people who haven't had money before now have money and having to manage it, and people who've had money are now like doing the opposite, and it puts things in perspective. I remember one of my very good friends, like the second he had to go at me, was like, "You don't know the value of a pound, a penny, or 50 pence." And I was like, "That's not true." And then looking back in third year, I'm like, they're completely right. I completely get it now. So I think that puts things in perspective, and it is the great equalizer. But it sucks having no money.
It really
No, it's like part of the. People make it trivial, but it's not trivial. But it's part of the student experience, and it's not a trivial thing because, not having money is stressful. There's so much anxiety. Like you already have so much anxiety from like assignments, getting things done. So
Robbing banks.
Worrying about rent.
Stop robbing banks. Stop talking about robbing banks. But not having money is horrible. That's why I've always had like a part-time job, and I am horrible at budgeting.
Yeah, I'm terrible. So
horrible.
Like, what tips would you give, like, for like obviously trying to budget or anything like that?
As people that maybe have made financial mistakes previously,
100%.
Hindsight is a great thing. What tips would you have for people that are like leaving home for the first time, managing their own finances? Do you have any tips?
I would definitely say kind of just don't jump right into it. Like I didn't get a maintenance loan, but I did save up some money, and I worked all summer to make like literally £300 again because of currency exchange rate. So I worked all summer like 12-hour shifts, and I had £300 saved.
Wow.
And I saved the entire thing. So I was really, really conscious about finances coming here. And actually I went the other way around. A lot of people come in and they spend it all and then they start saving. And I was the other way around. I was really, really conscious and really, really saving, and only kind of being here for a longer time and starting spending more and more and more. And then I got into the gutter. But in terms of tips, I would say, just kind of think long term. Like you now have the £1,000, but £1,000 has to last you some time. So I'm not saying don't get anything you want, but maybe split it. Let's say this is the thing that I really, really want. Maybe for university, you want a camera, right? Camera costs £200. Great, get the camera and then start a savings account. Honestly, if I were to go back, start a savings account right away. And I would put at least £200-300 of that £1,000 on that savings account. Just don't touch it. Savings account don't have credit cards, which is amazing because it just stops you from impulsively buying stuff, because you would actually have to transfer it back. And usually, at least that's with my savings account, it takes a day for the payment to be processed. So it gives you that extra 24 hours
to really think about it.
Really think about it.
That's really good.
So just creating that kind of barrier, right? And it gives you that extra money. And then if you've been thinking about getting something for a long time, you know the money's there when you're ready to buy it. So definitely start a savings account. Second of all, I would say be very, very cautious with the overdraft. Loads of students get the students' accounts. Again, I was not eligible for it because I wasn't a resident, and I'm so thankful for it, because that meant I was only spending the money I had and not the money that I borrowed. Because overdraft, it sounds amazing, right? You can get everything you want now, but the fine print is there is an interest on it. And the longer you are in the overdraft, like the more they're then gonna charge you when you get the kind of money. So then you get your next student loan installment, and they take the money right away plus the interest, and you're like,
Well, the thing is, I think a lot of people get the student account just for the overdraft anyway, to spend money, because I know I did that, and I barely used my student account at all, so I'd still be using my main account, and in the end they closed my student account down because I wasn't using it at all. But I had like minus 250 in there. I was like, oh god. So I had to pay back like a big lump sum like straight away, and like within a month, otherwise I would have obviously interest would have added up. And it's very stressful to do that, because when you see like a big amount come out, and then you've got other bills to pay, like I probably had car insurance around that time, car tax and stuff like that, and then you still want to go out and socialise, it is really, really hard to do. And then by the end of the month, I'm sort of just waiting for like because I used to work part-time in Wetherspoons, and I just waiting for that paycheck to come in, or your student loan to come in, and you're just like, God, next time I just don't want to make this mistake again. And I think one tip I would give for any student who is going to be coming to universities, before them 2 years, like between like in the college and A-level years, just make sure you save up as much money.
Oh, yeah.
And come
100%.
to university with a good amount of money. I was quite fortunate because I had a part-time job coming into university, and I was a lifeguard, and that already paid quite well. And I'd go back on weekends and work like basically 20 hours, and that was perfect for me. And I could fund basically my first year alongside my maintenance loan. But that's one thing I would recommend, is just saving up as much before you come to university.
But the thing is, I'm realizing now that we're kind of almost out of university, is that now you need to have the money saved for becoming an adult, because there is that limbo between kind of, you know, finishing university and then finding a job. Like, how are you going to pay for stuff? So you say save before university, but again, like, save even during university. You know, the good times are good, so save a little bit of that, you know, for the rainy days, and they will come. They will come.
Yeah, they always will come. And it's one of those things that, like, you have to be cautious of, okay, if I'm making £600 a month, should I really be spending £700?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
only spend the money that you have and not the money that you can access.
Yeah.
I actually, first of all, I have a student overdraft.
Yeah, I had one too.
But first of all, I want to say that I think there's a difference between want and need. Like, whenever I'm buying something, I think, do I want this or do I need this?
That's very mature.
But
Very smart.
I was actually, well, I've done that through inexperience of, like, being
Yeah.
immature. But I've got a student overdraft this year, an interest-free overdraft from Barclays.
Yeah.
I've actually found it quite useful.
Yeah.
And, like, for instance, go to my landlord, like, for instance, we pay every student loan. That next student loan payment is in May. So I'm like, look, there's going to be a month where I'm not going to have access to student finance. This overdraft is just going to help me pay that month, settle things with the landlord. I found it quite useful tool, like, not having it throughout 3 years. I think if you use it correctly,
As a safety net.
it is a good tool. I think I'm quite happy mine is capped at 500. Mine's capped at 500.
Smart.
And then when you finish uni, it becomes a graduate account, and then you have, I think it's up to a year to get out of it.
Yeah.
But I feel like it is a useful tool. It is there to be used. And yeah, look, I think
Cautiously.
it is there to be used cautiously, but I think I agree with you, like, using your money and saving wisely, but it's sometimes on a random Tuesday,
Yeah, you have to.
on a random Tuesday, you'll just get sidelined with something like bit morbid, like your dad's dead, and like you need to come.
wow.
You need to, yeah.
That's really bad.
Bit morbid, like you need to come home. Like you need to come home.
Yeah.
You got to go home for that. And you're like, right, well, my carefully constructed budget plan is now out the window.
out the window,
Because I have a £37.50 train back to London. It's like, I might need to dip into some money I don't have. I think as long as you use it cautiously and use that want and need mentality, I think it can be useful. And I was very fearful that in first year and second year didn't have an overdraft, but in third year, if it's there to be used and you use it wisely, I think it can be quite a good tool.
I think that's quite smart as well, because of what I would always do is I'd always have like a sort of like safety blanket. So whenever I worked and after every month I would get paid, I would always put like 5% or 10% aside, or like £100 aside, and put that into like my little safety pot. Then I'll put some more money into then a savings account, which is something big I want to save for. So like, I'm massively into my gaming, and when the PS5 came out, I was putting money aside. Obviously, I was putting money aside. Obviously,
PS5 fund.
Yeah. Well, to afford that.
Fair enough.
So, and like obviously, I could then still, I budgeted well enough to be like, okay, so I know I put that much aside, and I got now like £200 or £300 for the month where I can go and enjoy myself. And then I still have money for bills, and then I had them put money into savings as well. And that's sort of like one way I try to think about it is try and budget to what you want to enjoy as well, and then trying to save alongside it. But then obviously having that safety blanket as well, like what you said, like if something like really bad happens, you have to go back home, and then you have to fork out like quite a bit of money, then you have that covered as well.
See, I didn't do any of that.
Wait, like you did it the hard way. You just didn't crash. And
No,
then
but the
you
thing
learn.
is, I worked so much. So before coming to university, back in Reading, I worked at IKEA.
The wonderful every day.
They were wonderful every day. The best job I ever had. I made so much money. I'm really privileged and super grateful for the money I've made as an 18-year-old working like 20 hours a week. Came here. It was like the classic case of being an adult with no adult responsibilities. I had a whale of a time. I was just spraying that money around like nobody's business. And I spent so much money. I spent £3,000 in the first 2 weeks of university.
That's
And
nuts.
How did you do that?
I still don't understand. There's a Snapchat video of me in my halls and kitchen in Challoner Halls on Park Campus, not crying, but I was like, oh my God, just a realization of like how much money I've spent. But like when you're having a good time, and I'm not saying like I was drunk and I would just spend the money. Like I was like buying clothes. I was like, oh, I also had no idea where I was going. I'm really, really bad with direction, or I was at the time. So I was getting taxis everywhere. Again, so you have to think about what do you need and what do you want. And
The thing is that all that adds up as well. I don't think people realise it's like when you buy like a meal deal here and there.
Oh yeah, meal deal every day. If you think about like, if you're buying meal deals every day, £27 a week, that's crazy.
Yeah. That's a lot. And then that's just a meal deal that's still quite cheap.
Which is like 5 minutes,
takeout.
yeah.
Think takeouts. And quite a lot of students, they come to university and they go straight to takeouts every day. Maybe eating twice a day. My housemates, bless them, they only live off meal deals and takeouts. I'm like, how can you afford it?
How can they function?
Also,
first
yeah.
thing, that
I've no
gut must
idea.
hate them.
But a lot of students do that, and I was guilty of doing that. I was a horrible cook, in first year of university, and then now I love cooking, absolutely love it.
Praise Gordon Ramsay for me.
Really
Praise him.
into it. See, for me it was like Joe Wicks. Like I love Google, and I always say to people who struggle with anything in general, you're just a type away. Just type something to Google, find the answer, whether it's how to apply for student finance via Student Finance England or Student Finance Scotland or Wales or wherever you are, or how to make a student-friendly meal. And in second year, I was like, you know what? I need to get myself together. I need to like sort out my finances. I need to sort out the way I'm eating. So I bought this book called Fast Nosh, or like Nosh for Students, I think it was called. And it was Nosh for Students. And I bought the Joe Wicks Lean in 15, which is like such a great cookbook. And I just generally started like making tabs, and I would go to Aldi and like I started prepping my week, and I started saving so much money.
Yeah,
so
but batch cooking, the best.
It's
Really
just
saves so much
lifesaver.
money.
I would always like cook a spaghetti bolognese and cook it to like feed like 6 people, because then I'll just contain it up, chuck it in the freezer, and then I don't have to worry in the week about like if I'm like, I don't feel like cooking today, I'll be like, oh wait, I can just microwave my bolognese back up, or then put some pasta in the water.
And you're making the effort anyway, so might as well make more of it, right?
Exactly, yeah.
I love that.
Because you're already cooking, right?
Yeah. My issue, if I like batch cook, I'll just eat it all.
Yeah. Oh, I've done it one time where I cooked like a curry for myself, and I've had like 5 chicken breasts in it, and I just ate it all.
Oh my God.
And it could have fed like 6 people. And
Wow.
That was that was during my like fat stage at uni.
We all go through that, yeah.
Everyone goes through it.
Shall we take a break and come back? And I know you've got a little game for us.
I do, yes.
I'm buzzing. Is it fun?
Well, potentially.
Well, we'll
I
find
really
out.
hope it is.
So, yeah.
Will it cost us money?
Yeah.
Are you trying to play
Yeah.
us a promise of money
Yeah.
that way?
We're just gonna be gambling now.
So to start off, I need your credit card, I need your debit card, social security number.
3 digits on the back, please.
Oh, yes.
No. So yeah, we'll take a break and we'll come back and we'll talk more money, talk more uni, and play Lewis's little game.
Yay.
Amazing.
Cool.
All right. Thank you so much for watching the first part of today's episode. We're talking about money and finances, which I know is such like a... Yep. I cannot use my hand, so that's okay.
Keep your hands on your legs.
Thank you so much for watching the first part of this episode. We're talking about finances and money, which I know is such a taboo and an annoying subject. But here at the University of Gloucestershire, we have amazing support systems in place for people who might be struggling financially or struggling mentally or any way. On each campus, we have something called the Help Zone, which is this area. It's a zone which you can go to and ask for help in literally anything.
Well, exactly what he said. Finance, if it's mental health that you need help with,
Yeah.
or even something as simple as just going to ask like a question about like your assignments or something. They're there to help you, even with stuff like copywriting as well.
Yeah,
So-
I remember when I was a student, I was applying for my British citizenship, and I needed like a little letter to say that I study at the University of Gloucestershire, and I went to the Help Zone, and they wrote this really cool letter with like letterheaded
Oh, I
paper.
love that.
It's very official. But yeah,
Very official.
as always, Behind the Uni is brought to you by the Uni of Glos, and you can always get in touch with us via social media or the website. And if you're interested about studying with us, feel free to get in touch, and we'll dive right back in. Welcome back. Thank you so much. We've just had a little break, and I know we've just said that Lewis has a game, but before we do your little game, we like to ask these 3 questions to all of our guests, and it's just like really, really simple questions. that kind of tell us more about who you are and what you look forward in life. And they're really interesting because some of them are really funny. I'll ask the first one, and Lewis, you can ask the others.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
What does your dad do for a job? No. First of all, have you ever robbed a bank? No.
Maybe.
What's on your bucket list?
Bucket list.
What's like the one thing that you really want to do, whether it's as a student while studying or after studying?
I think I just really want to travel.
Nice.
That kind of links to last night when I at 2 a.m. decided that in 2 weeks I'm going to Porto. That is my impulsive buy of the month.
Nice.
I love that.
What's your
Finish
bucket list?
uni. Bucket list. I think for me, my bucket list item is probably to go back onto TV. Back
nice.
to TV and
Be a star.
be a star. No, I think I actually haven't given that much thought. No, get a driver's license. 'Cause I don't have one, and everyone ridicules me for it. So yeah,
That's definitely on mine as
yeah,
well.
driver's license. Because having a green license, you get bullied.
What about you, Hish?
Uh,
do you say
driving
your
is actually one of them.
Is it?
Yes, 100%. I really, really, really want to go to Vietnam. That's like
That'd be awesome.
I love the culture. I've read some amazing things about
My
like
sister has
people.
been, and she said it's amazing because it's so undiscovered. She said,
Yeah.
like so very few tourists and very authentic.
I really, really want to go to Vietnam. Vietnam is on there. Japan is on there. So again, yeah, traveling.
Japan definitely, like that's my one, but that's so
Traveling.
expensive.
Well, that was
yours?
literally mine. I was about to say Japan as well, and obviously,
Oh my god, we can go together.
yeah, I think
I'll
everyone,
join you.
Yeah,
Oh,
Love that.
love that. But I think also I do want to go and see like every single continent.
Yeah,
I think that would be
that's a
awesome.
good bucket list.
I don't think a lot of people go to South America a lot,
No.
and I think
And Africa.
yeah, especially. So, well, I think that, and then Antarctica is another one because that's tough to get to as well. That's like real like end sort of goal to go there. Then you'd
But
be like,
what do you do in terms of sightseeing? Like,
You're like, oh,
you just like go out and
it's
see
just
the
what
sights.
yeah. But then I just think. Imagine being able to go like to your friends or to like you're like having like a drink with your friends, and be like, look, I've been to like all 7 continents.
oh, that is a
before.
classic
Wow.
gap year thing.
Yeah.
Gap
year.
my gap year in
My
Kenya,
gap year.
I've just done amazing things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I definitely want to go
Yeah.
traveling, and I think traveling is really, really cool as well, especially for creative individuals.
Oh yeah,
Like-
so much inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So next question is, can you sum up the University of Gloucestershire in one word? And
Your
what word?
experience, your time here, as you wrap up your third year, you wrap up your masters.
It's kind of like I think those are very two different questions
Yeah.
because
Yeah, okay.
I can sum up my experience like what I was like at uni. I can sum that up with that word, but it would be a very different word from how I would sum up the university.
Okay, how would
Okay.
you sum up your experience first?
Chaos.
Love that.
So that was my experience, but yeah, it always sorts itself out. So
Yeah. And how would you sum up the uni?
family.
Oh,
Oh, that's amazing.
that's so wholesome.
I love that.
Love that. How would you sum up your experience first?
Testing.
Love that.
Testing. For many different reasons, but I think that's probably the word I'd use.
Well, the thing is with uni, like we've discussed it, we said you go through so much like trials and tribulations, whether it's financial or emotional, or even like, I don't know, relationships and all that stuff, and studies, but you learn a lot of things
Yeah.
about yourself, about what you want to do in the future. So yeah, testing is a great word.
I feel like it's very much like out of one frying pan into another,
Yeah.
another.
Yeah.
You're like, it's constantly
Never
like just
stop.
Love that. And how would you sign up Uni of Gloss?
mixed.
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 Yeah.
I feel like it's the best of times and it's the worst of times. I feel
Yeah.
like now and I think like years to come I'll go, oh, miss uni and stuff, fantastic, like nothing bad to say about the uni, but I think now third year just get me out
You
of
sound
here.
like, I wanna
I love
finish.
my time.
Yeah.
I love my time here and
Yeah.
such. I love most of my lecturers, but
It's time to move
it's,
on.
It's
Yeah.
time to go. Just like get me
It's
out.
the home run. It's
Well,
generally the
I
stressful
think-
part.
Kind of leave the nest.
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
just got
Exactly.
to go and do
Well, I
it.
think at the moment as well, it's like a roller coaster for you because of obviously it's dissertation handing as well. Like that's coming up, and there is light at the end of the tunnel. It is, you're so close. Well, not in a bad way, but there is light at the end of the tunnel, and you are so close to finishing. And then by the end of it, you're gonna be like, "Wow, I'm a graduate," and I'm like, you're gonna enter the real world. Yeah.
Gonna be a real adult.
Yeah.
Gonna be a real life boy.
Real life boy.
What about you, Hish? What about what word would you sum up?
My experience
For experience,
as a student. God, I wasn't prepared for this. I would say
On the spot.
chaotic as well, definitely. But in the best way possible.
Yes,
In the best way
absolutely.
possible. I was really, as a student, like I said, I graduated in 2019. I'm going back to do my master's in 2022 in September. Like as a student, an undergrad student, it was all about doing the most.
Just do it all.
Just
Just
doing
do
it
it all.
I
Yeah.
want to see everything. I want to
Do everything.
everyone. I wanna-
You want to do everything? Oh wow, love that, Hish.
no. So like I started.
Dirty boy.
No, he's gonna
Not
rock
like that. Not like that. Yeah, I started the society, had so much fun. I met amazing people. Like, I did really cool things. One of the stuff, I always forget this, but one of the things that I got to do at UOG is that I got to interview Hillary Clinton.
That's nuts. That's huge.
It's like the weirdest.
That's a huge thing to do.
I was in second year and I really interviewed her about her new book. And I was like, do you know what I mean? That's like such a random thing. I generally always forget that. That's why I always say it's chaotic in the best way possible. Because that week, I interviewed Hillary Clinton on the Friday. And that weekend I remember it specifically, was the worst shifts I've ever done in my job. I used to work at Vodafone,
God.
in the phone shop. And I remember being like, yesterday I was interviewing arguably one of the most famous women in the world, and today someone like shouted at me because their phone is broken. So yeah, uni's so interesting because like you literally the ups and downs are crazy.
Yeah.
The best of times,
And then-
the worst of times.
Yeah, I would sum up UOG as I don't know, like the right thing, and which I know that sounds, it's not one
That's
word.
2 words.
That's 2 words. I generally would say perfect because
You would generally say
I
perfect?
have no regrets about my time here whatsoever, and I loved it so much.
Oh yeah,
I love that.
I mean-
regrets, but not about the university.
Yeah, like I'm coming back
Yeah.
in September to do my masters. Like I don't know, that's like a testament to how much I love studying.
It just
here.
shows how much you love it.
Yeah,
I think
What about
for
you?
me, for experience for me, I would probably say growth.
Love that.
Just because I feel like from the start of uni, I was just like a boy. And now I feel like
You're a man.
I feel like I'm a man now, and I feel like at the end of it, I've grown so much as a person, just from the experiences I've felt, from the people I've met, and from obviously doing societies and obviously lectures and stuff like that. And that's probably the word I'll use. And then probably for the for UOG, I'll probably say experience. I really
Love
would,
that.
because it has opened my eyes. Because before coming to university, I didn't really. I was like, oh, is it going to be for me? Is it going to be for me? I nearly dropped out after the first 2 weeks, and I was like, I still wasn't sure. And then I was like, once I got into it, I was like, there's no going back now. This is perfect. This is for me.
I love that because
So,
like
yeah.
literally everything we just said throughout this whole podcast, the first episode and like today and like I'm sure in the future episodes we're constantly talking about like university is not just about what you do in lectures, it's what you do outside lectures as well, which is so important. It's like the mishaps, like the hungover mornings and like going to Valentino's to get like a kebab, and we'll talk about that I'm sure at some point during the future episodes.
What a place.
So good.
Yeah.
But like it's all about the community, it's all about the experience, it's all about the place. Like
And the people. It's like everything you do just involves people, and that is just so amazing. Like all the people you meet, and you know, some of them stay for longer, some days stay shorter times, but you kind of look fondly on back on all of it.
I love it, and it is like literally like you said, it's like a little family.
Yeah.
So good. Well, that was cute.
Yeah, it's
I
cute.
love that.
Right.
That was very wholesome of us.
Is there one more question that we have?
Yes. So going away from being wholesome to I guess being like a proper student, what is the worst student meal that you've ever had? Like something that maybe like you've made at home or you've had out where you're like, you know what, this is as studenty as it can get. Like I don't know, like a weird
It's
meal.
a tough one, isn't it? It's real
It's a
tricky.
tough one.
Like what's like a really weird like thing that you would never eat at like I don't know, like with your family.
Bread and water in first year. I got
Excuse me.
What? You're not a duck.
Bread-
Wow.
Bread and water.
First year.
Oh.
I was like, I didn't have enough. So, this is before, right? So, first year, my milk got stolen in the first week. And
Okay.
in the first
Drama.
week, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to steal anything. Like, I'm not going to take anything from any housemates. I'm going to be really good. And I wanted a little bit of margarine. And I was like, I could take it or I could, like, not. I decided not to. I had a piece of bread and I was like, I just want it. So I pour a little bit of water on it.
Oh
Lewis.
What did it taste of? Was it just
I don't really
damp?
remember.
It must have been just like
But
Eating
then
cardboard, soggy
I
cardboard.
found the joy of taking a little bit from your housemate. So you take a little bit of cereal from every
Just
housemate.
ask.
Oh my god.
You take a little bit of cereal from every housemate,
So-
and then
Sneaky
no one
Robert.
knows.
In this
And then you use like a little bit of milk. You use like a little bit of milk from everyone, and then communism, like everybody's like everyone's lost.
So in this episode, you've talked about robbing a bank,
Yeah,
stealing tiny amounts of food from your housemates.
yeah, like little incremental. Amounts.
So, but would you mix all the cereal together and then?
yeah. So you get like
A cocktail.
That's chaotic.
you get like
That is-
so you get like the chocolate cinnamon crisp and like frosties, and then like a little
No,
bit.
okay.
Like, use a smidge of like for instance we have oat milk. You use a smidge of oat milk, then a smidge of like semi-skinned, and then full fat.
Oh,
and mix it together.
And
No.
some
And
water
then-
as well
no.
because there's never enough of
and
it.
then you've like incrementally taken from everyone, so no one will realise.
I would like to say yet again, this podcast and University of Gloucestershire would like to distance themselves
It's
from
sponsored
Lewis,
by thieves.
from Lewis Holman's actions yet again. That's hilarious.
Just testing times.
I love that bread and water. That's like the most, I don't know, like a kid's version of like the Holy Communion.
There,
Yeah.
there are other meals. There
Bread
are
and
other
water.
meals. I'll get to them in like later episodes, but that's probably the funniest one.
That's
So
funny.
much nutrition.
What about you? Have you had anything? I don't think you can top bread and water. But like, have you had any horrible meals?
Oh my god, I think one thing that I never actually used to have before was just like just pasta. Like I wasn't never really a big fan of pasta, but
Wow.
it's the thing that you can get a bag for like 20p
So
and you
cheap.
can get it in sauce for like 30 to 50p.
I was just about to ask.
And then it's like 4 meals right there. But it's not something that I would normally ever do.
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
weirdest thing that I was like, I didn't actually have any stain, so I just had the pasta. I had nothing else.
Just
So-
pasta on its own.
I was
Yeah.
just ask.
You know, it's
And
still healthy.
sometimes there would be like a little bit of something, like a little bit of cheese that's been there for a while. Be like, okay, yeah, just plain pasta with the cheese. Or yeah, the worst thing ever, the ketchup. Just
Ugh,
Ketchup on a pasta.
yeah.
yeah.
You know what? I think that's paying. I think that's so good. Ketchup on pasta
Is
is
it?
probably something.
Not
Yeah.
for me.
No, bread and water's not
What?
okay.
No.
What about you? Weird meal.
I think for me it was I had eggs on toast, but I had 6 eggs on toast.
On one toast.
No, two slices of toast. But I had 6 eggs, and I put a bit of salt and pepper because I'm quite bougie like that.
Love that.
And then I just doused it in ketchup,
Nice.
and it was.
For
I've
a
never
minute,
had
it
so
sounded
many
actually
eggs.
nice.
I was just like bombarded. My mouth was just bombarded with eggs, and I was like, "What is going on here?"
I think
That's horrible.
What's
But-
the max amount of eggs you can eat in a day?
Zero.
Not
Is it-
6.
Well, 6 apparently.
Definitely not 6.
But it was a very harrowing experience over the next couple of days on the toilet. So
Oh,
Sitting out toilet.
horrible. I definitely,
Oh my
mine was
God.
pasta. Pasta and ketchup, like, really good. Really quick, especially if you like make pasta the night before and then lunch the next day you've got like pasta in the fridge. You're like, okay, what can I put in this to like
Make it have a
something?
taste.
I used to make pasta marmite. That is like my specialty. I used to love pasta. And this is not a horrible meal, but I went through a phase. You know the bachelor's pasta sauces?
yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
we just about
Something
about to take
It's
off
an
then.
earthquake.
So something just
All the
started
noises are
whirring
happening
behind
today.
us. Yeah, we had rain earlier. We had some
The eruption.
all the things. But yeah, I bachelor's pasta sauce, the sachets, obsessed. If you like weird pastas, you definitely love those.
Oh my god, you just reminded me of like the weirdest thing that I always do because my parents always used to make broths, but I'm a student, I'm not making
Broth.
a broth. So I just take those like those like the cubes.
Yeah,
And
the
I
little
would just
stock
literally
cubes.
just
stock
put it in a
cubes,
mug
Oh.
with water and like
drink
that's my soup.
Do you know what? I
like.
saw someone on TikTok that said if you're ever feeling it like you want a snack, you
Or
just
just
do
drink
that.
that.
Drink stock.
Yeah,
it's like water
yeah.
and soup. I don't know.
No,
I'm
Because
trying.
that's
I'm not
because
trying
it's
that.
got
It's like a
stock
savoury
soup.
tea. It's like a savoury
I'm not
tea.
trying that. No.
Okay. But it's that's a very student thing. I like that.
Yeah.
It's a very
Right,
student thing.
moving on. So, Lewis,
Let me-
you
you've got
have
a game.
A
A
game, for
right?
us,
So
don't
the,
you?
so the game all centres around. You've been wondering why I've been dropping so many bankrupt. No,
Oh, what? Are we going on a heist?
no, it's not a heist. No, if I can't sign into my laptop.
Oh,
So the
God.
game is I went on the interweb and I
I'm
went
familiar with that thing.
intercontinental
internet.
web
On
Yeah.
the line.
website, and I found a list of questions regarding student spending.
Oh,
As a team, you have
Ooh.
to decide which of the answers
Okay.
is correct. It's multiple choice.
thank God.
Let's go.
Okay.
And yes, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay, let's dive in.
Okay.
Hit us with it.
So, studentmoneysaver.com done a survey of 800 students on a
Yep.
series of questions regarding
Good.
spending. The first question: how many students admitted to shopping online whilst drunk?
Oh wow.
Is
Probably
it
all of it.
A 42%,
Yeah.
B, 33%, or C, 68%?
I'm all for 68.
I'm all for
just gonna
68.
say
Yeah,
it.
I think
Yeah.
I'm dramatic as
Yeah.
hell.
Yeah.
I'm 68.
I'm going for that because I nearly ordered like a Leicester City football top when they won the league. And
What?
when I was
Do you
pissed.
even support Leicester?
No,
No.
that's the whole point. Like, I nearly bought something when I was like, and I woke up the next day, I was like, why have I done that?
Love that. Is it 68?
No, it's not. It's 33%.
I don't believe it.
Ah,
Because
that's
they
a
didn't
lie.
admit
Yeah.
it. It's like they had to admit
It's
it. I'm gonna say,
disproportionate.
like,
So
nah.
of that 33%, 21% said rarely, 8% said sometimes, 3% said often, and 1% said very often.
Drunk shopping.
Is that something that happened to you with the £3,000?
100%.
He was drunk all the time. That's why.
But you are the
No, I will tell
1%.
you-
You are the
oh my God.
1%.
Okay, during the first 2 weeks of freshers,
What'd you buy?
I bought really stupid stuff. The stupidest stuff that I bought, and I was drunk, I saw an Instagram advert for, I wear glasses, obviously. If you're watching the video, you can see that. But I saw a little glasses holder that was like gold plated, and it's like a little nose, and you put your glasses on. And it was £40, and I was like, oh, this is something I need, and I was obviously,
Please.
I wasn't in the right
Why?
mind.
Please
Like,
say.
honestly, why? Like, I need my glasses
Yeah.
on my face, otherwise I can't even see my own hand.
Do you know where it is now?
Where,
It's
please
literally in
say.
a box somewhere.
Oh,
So, but yeah, that was a really stupid purchase. But I've definitely bought really, really stupid stuff. I bought a £300 suit.
Why? Oh, is that for the Hillary Clinton stuff?
That was for that was in the first week of uni because I was going to the welcome week fair. No, not the fair, the party.
The
that-
ball.
Oh,
The
yeah, the
ball.
ball.
So I was like, oh, I need a new suit, even though I had 2 suits already.
it's crazy.
So it's part
Yeah.
of being a shopaholic, and I think
Yeah.
I think students are naturally shopaholics, and it's okay.
yeah, it is fine.
Yeah,
Speaking of big spenders,
yeah. Is it Shirley Bassey?
no, in
Secret.
2020, a Saudi billionaire made an eye-watering purchase for their soon-to-be university-bound daughter and bought one of the most expensive apartments in Mayfair in London.
Wow.
But how much for? Is it A, £18.6 million, B, £13.6 million, or C, £24.2 million?
I think 80.
Yeah, I want to go 18.
I wanna go
I
option
think-
A.
Come middle.
Yeah, I reckon we go middle for this.
Middle 18 is
Yeah.
the 18.6 million.
That's correct.
Oh, yes.
Oh my
We're
god,
bored.
I want a dad like that.
Yeah,
the board.
£18.6 million.
Oh my god.
The Saudi billionaire was not unconfirmed, unidentified.
Unidentified.
Oh,
I love that we can be real estate agents. That we've actually like recognised the true
Imagine
price.
you're like, oh, come back to mine for afters. It's like, oh, where
And you
is
go
it?
to
Oh
Mayfair.
my
Mayfair.
god.
imagine walking into an £18.6 million apartment.
Could never be me.
Like, you'd be like, what is this place?
Could
It must be
never
just a
be me.
mansion just in the air.
I mean, I would love it, but at the same time, like, it doesn't really feel like you're being a student, like the proper student.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
proper student just doesn't
Like,
live.
that,
could you imagine
actually.
she goes on a night out, she's like after the club, picks up a traffic cone.
and takes it back to 18,
Oh my god.
£18.6 million
That's so funny.
Oh
in
my
the
That's
air.
so funny. Is there any more questions?
And there's final question
Oh.
Ooh.
for the prize, which a plant,
A
a
plant.
plant,
Yeah.
which is dead.
Dying.
No, it's not.
Fine.
You haven't shown
We
the
are,
other side.
we are rejuvenating this
If
plant.
you're watching the podcast on YouTube, we've got a lovely green plant next to us. Yeah, please do that.
There you go.
And we're watering
Lewis is
it
watering
currently.
right now.
For a second, I thought it was fake.
No, it's real.
It's actually dead.
It's not dead.
It's not dead.
It's looking alright. But yeah,
very
what's the
green.
question?
The final question. A Glasgow student hit the headlines in recent weeks for buying and donating what vehicle to charity? Is it A, a tractor,
Cute.
B, an ambulance, or C, a fire truck?
This is
Student
bought-
donated.
They
Student.
bought
Oh,
and
they
then
bought.
they bought and then
Where do you buy a fire truck from?
they bought and then drove it to this place. For charity.
So it
I'm gonna
would
say
be,
fire truck.
I reckon if it's going to be for Ukraine and what's happening there,
Ah.
I'm going to go ambulance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna go-
can you read the answers again for
Sure,
me?
it was A, a tractor, B, an ambulance,
Yeah.
or C, a fire truck.
Yeah.
Like, I think fire truck would be just so cool, but I have a feeling it might be the ambulance.
I think I'm gonna say ambulance because that's more realistic.
Final answer?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to go ambulance.
That's correct.
I love that.
Glasgow student called Umran Ali Javid bought and donated an ambulance to Poland to help them with the crisis in Ukraine. And he drove it
Umran.
there.
Got it.
He drove it.
He drove it?
He drove it to Poland.
That is
my God.
amazing.
That's so cool. Good for him.
And
That's
he,
like 27 hours.
I think
That's
if I
That's a
read,
long
I
drive.
think if I
It's a
read
long
correctly
drive.
as well, he has a history of like buying and donating vehicles to charity.
I love that.
That's
If I'm
that's
reading
amazing.
correctly,
So
so he's a,
cool.
he's
Fair
a good
play
little
to him.
saver. He is.
I mean,
Yeah,
students.
fair play to him.
What do you
students-
spend £3,000 on?
He's trying to make
Suits.
you feel
It's not me.
bad.
It makes me feel bad.
And glasses
Again,
holders.
students changing the world, doing good things. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun.
There you go. Well done. You've won a plant.
Thank you. And I guess thank you. Obviously, thank you for doing that. And then thank you to both of you for coming on. That was really, really fun. And I know that money is such a weird topic, but like again, if anyone is listening or watching this, there are so many resources out there to help with like money problems. Just like you can head to the Uni of Gloucester website. We've got finance pages that you can access resources, ask questions.
Exactly. And we also have a help zone as well, which
Yeah.
can obviously help you if you are in obviously dire straits sort of thing as well. So
Yeah, so if you need any help, there's always a place. And if you have any questions about applying to university, any questions about University of Gloucestershire, just tweet us, go on Instagram or TikTok at Uni of Gloss, and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions.
just drop us a DM. That's
Yeah.
all you got to do.
And if you would like to go rob a bank with Lewis Holman,
Make
Contact
sure
Lewis
to
Holman.
Tell me first. I will-
He'll come along.
We'll call Javid. He'll buy us something. He'll buy us a vehicle.
And
Umar.
it would be the Lewis
Yeah.
8. Like,
Yeah.
it was
Love
going
that.
to be the heist.
We'll get Javid to buy us a car. We'd then go to the daughter in Mayfair and say, "Can we hang out here after the heist?"
love that.
I love this.
Whilst drunk. And then
Get some students to buy some stuff whilst
Barclays in town. Watch out.
we're coming for you.
Again,
Or
we are
actually
not.
gets robbed now.
We're not going to rob any bank. And if HSBC in Cheltenham gets robbed soon, we are not responsible. I'm just using this
Yeah.
as evidence.
Yeah, my name is Hisham. If you're wondering.
It's not me. Before we go, we have like a little gift. So I don't know how I'm going to do this with the mic, but we like to give our students these cute little tea towels that have the map of Cheltenham.
Thank you.
They're really cute, aren't they? So I've got one for you guys. Here you
Oh,
go.
thanks.
Where is it?
Our landlord actually accidentally took all our tea towels recently.
That's so weird.
Were they really dirty? Is that why?
Here you go.
Thanks. Oh,
I've literally already got like 2 or 3.
Of
I
them?
absolutely love these.
They're
Like,
so good.
most of my tea towels are just the university tea
Yeah,
towels.
As they should be. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And again, thank you so much for watching Behind the Uni. My name is Hisham.
And my name is Lewis.
And again, we'll see you next week. Make sure to contact with us on social media at Uni of Gloss. If you have any questions, ask us on social media. And again, we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
bye.